Hey class, here's going to be a quick review of the second part of our biomes activity. If you still need help with what a biome is or just what we're talking about ecology in general, go ahead and click the links for the videos below, or you can go back through the quick checks and you can also find the information in our ebooks. Alright, here we go. So we continued in activity 3, biomes. So what's a biome again? It's regions across the world with similar abiotic conditions. Remember, abiotic are the non-living conditions that are there, and the biotic organisms are the living organisms that live in those biomes. So we looked at 8 different biomes. You can go back and look in the previous for more information about each one of those. But then we started to say, okay, now that we know the characteristics of those biomes, how can we figure out what types of organisms might be able to live there? So we looked at 8 different organisms. We started with the Piscea mariana, the black spruce. It can grow in really cold climates, but it does need some frost-free days. You can see how much precipitation it needs, and then you can see the soil type that it grows in. We looked at Sorghum nutans, which is an Indian grass. It needs warm and cold seasons. It needs a moderate amount of precip, can grow in many soil types, but it does need that warm soil for part of the year, while also needing cold winter for their seeds, and it does survive in drought. This Celia ferranosa, the brittlebrush, experiences most of its active growth in fall, winter, and spring. It uses little moisture and stores water in its stem. It grows best where there's really little precipitation, and it can survive drought but doesn't survive fire or frost. The Carex saxatilis, sorry about that, russet sedge. It can go for at least 2 months frost-free. It needs little rain and can grow in pore-thin soil, but it does grow most in the summer, so it will need a little bit of warmth. Chlorus guyanarhodes grass grows mainly spring and summer, and can grow at moderate temps but not hot. It cannot survive in really cold temperatures, and it does need above freezing about half the year. Needs a decent amount of rain annually, but it will tolerate drought for a little bit. Monarda fistulosa, wild bergamot, grows in a wide variety of soils. It cannot survive in extreme cold, and it needs about half a year frost-free. It needs the right amount of precipitation all year long, so not just in one season, totaling about 700 to 1500 millimeters. The Rafflesia arnoldi, the corpse lily, it's a parasitic plant. It gets all its nutrients from this vine that it attaches to, and that vine grows best with year-round warm temps and precipitation. And this one's kind of interesting because it gets its name that the short time each year that this flower blooms, it's huge and smells like a rotting corpse. So it'd be something to stumble across out in the wild. Heteromeles arbitifolia is known as toyon. It's fire and drought resistant. It needs little water, especially in the summer. It only needs 200 to 700 millimeters of precipitation annually. It does tolerate freezing winter and hot summer, and it has berries that can last all throughout the winter. So these are some of the characteristics of 8 different organisms. Hopefully you can use those to try to match up to the biome that they would best be suited to growing into. All of these are representation of biodiversity, the number of species that could be found in a given ecosystem or area. And so the more diverse and the more characteristics that are able to match up, the more biodiversity you'll be able to see in an area or in a biome. Here's a reminder of some of the key vocab words we've been looking at. So abiotic and biotic factors, biodiversity that we just looked at, the number of species in an area, biomes, ecosystem and evidence. So if you aren't sure on a good definition for these, go back and look through your notes and through the slides. I will go ahead and link these slides down below as well if you need them. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in class again.